Hello everybody, my name is Ivan Ethos, and welcome back to Gaming with Spirit. In a nutshell, we're talking about the most popular warframe right now, which is Garuda. Now, normally I would not cover a brand new frame like this, but she does have a high demand for, views for one, and for two, she is a G right after Gara. So I kind of want, if I want to continue doing kind of alphabetically, I have to put her in, and I'm just going to shift her position around in the playlist. So we're going to start off by looking at her base stats without augmentation. I did put a forma in her to kind of round out my first build a little bit, but it still needs to have another forma or maybe even two to make it perfect for me. So you have a V polarity right here for your aura. Then you have a V polarity here and a dash polarity here. You don't have this one. This one I put in there myself. Now, her base stats at level 30 are 300 armor, 270 energy, which is really high energy, 300 health, 300 shield, and 1 sprint speed. So she's kind of in near the 300 range for practically everything, which might make you go, that's a lot of armor. It is. It is a lot of armor, and I will be the first person to say that. Now, Garuda's abilities are complicated and do require a bit of explanation, so we are going to jump into this here and explain. So, first we'll simulate these Lancers, and jump in. Okay. So, Garuda's abilities state, the first one, Dread Mirror, is kind of a unique skill. So basically, it's a big cluster of information, and a lot of it's a little bit misleading, but we'll explain it in a second here. So, Garuda's passive is, as she nears death, her damage increases. This is the damage from her weapons and her abilities. Her second part of her passive states as clashes with her talent if no melee weapons equipped, which we'll show in a bit. Now, Dreadmere is, as I said, an absolute cluster of information. So, the range that you see in this first part is the range that she can leap to her target, which I'll show here in a second. So, we'll mark him so you can see. I can go out 30 meters, not 31. 31 won't do it, but if I go 30 meters in, I can jump towards it. Now when I do this, as you can see, I get this little ball above my head there, and then I have this thing here in front of me. So the ball indicates how much damage was dealt to him. So 472 damage was dealt to him prior to mitigation. So that's not including how much his armor negated and stuff like that. Now, if you notice, once it disappears, that ball is still up there. Well, why is that? Well, this is all part of her ability. So the duration of her shield is 20 seconds at base, and the health of the shield is 10%. So 10% of their health is turned into that little orb you saw up there, which is not the shield's strength, it's something different. There's an instant kill threshold of 35%. So what that states is, if my enemy is below 35% health, when I do this, we'll instantly kill him. Instantly kill him. So it's a great way of weakening enemies and diving in to kill them. Kind of like a bird of prey hunts their enemies. So the second part of this is the damage capture multiplier. Now what this states is, basically, if these enemies were actually firing at me, which I will showcase, you'll see that the damage they deal to the front of me, actually, I absorb straight out. So we'll kill all the enemies, simulate 6 new ones. And we'll do this, and we'll jump here, and if you watch, the number right there is increased. The cool fact is I can tap that and reactivate it and keep my durations up. I take no damage. There is no health for the shield. In fact, the more damage I absorb, the more powerful this ability becomes, which I will showcase as soon as I hit 4,000. Okay, hit 4,000. So we'll just jump up here. We'll kill these enemies, pause the AI, and simulate 6 new ones. So, that's the damage capture multiplier. Now the charge damage per second I will show, as well as a charge drain per second I will also show. The explosion radius will be the last thing that you'll see. So I have this 4,000 thing now sitting above my head, and you're like, well, what is that for? If it's not the shield's health, what is it? Well, if you press and hold your one rather than pressing and tapping, you will actually charge it up And once it's at maximum power, which, yes, the more energy you have, the higher this can go. I started out with 4,000, I ended up with 13.9k. This is a projectile of death. Yes, you can move, can't jump, but as soon as you release it, as you can see, it annihilated all of them. Now, the reason why I orange critted was because of my Kavat. Nox here, he kind of gave me a crit buff. I don't know if it actually functions with abilities, I'm not entirely sure, but that's just kind of how things work. So, the first ability is kind of a combination of duration-based power scaling. So, if you can get to incredibly high levels of this, that shield it completely negates all damage. So, and it absorbs the damage, and you can fling it back at people. Now, like Gara, as I mentioned in her video, it's an infinitely scaling damage. And it all is based on your damage capture multiplier, which is increased by power strength. The instant kill threshold is not increased at all, it will stay static. But the charge explosion radius can be increased by range mods, as per the norm. And of course you saw the charge drain per second, the charge damage per second increase as well. This is, of course, by efficiency will change it, and this will, of course, change by power strength. Now, Blood Altar is a little different. Blood Altar is a little bit misleading. So you have, once again, it's a 30-meter range, and it's a 6-meter heal range, and it's a 20-second duration. So what that is this. So you have to charge towards your target. Yeah, so there's a bit of cast time plus a charge time. Now what you get is you get this ring. The energy cone, of course, and while you stand in it, it gives you health whenever you are low on health. You can make multiple of these. If you notice, the enemy in question is immune to damage, and he is not necessarily taking any damage either. So you're like, well, what is that 1%, right? That 1% damage is, as far as we can tell, how much damage it can absorb. Or how much damage you're giving it off, in a sense. It's kind of hard to say. The 25% health per second is also kind of unusual and weird. But for the most part, this is a pretty simple ability. It gives you a little AoE heal circle, which is really, really handy. Now, Garuda has Bloodletting. It's the greatest skill on a Warframe, because it allows you to convert your health into energy. So it's 50% of your health to 25% of your energy, which I can showcase. There it goes. So as you can see, I now have 150 health, my death gate is at 50%, and of course I have full energy. Now if I actually use my second ability again, you will see at 25% Blood Altar, I will just slowly heal up here. And there it is. All the way to max. This happens for everything. This includes Shadows of the Dead from Necros. So this is a very useful ability to have around Necros' shadows, keeps them alive a heck of a lot longer. Now, so Bloodletting can get you can use it twice without having to have issues. But once you use it twice, you will be automatically down to 100% of your death gate, so 100% increased damage, and at 2 health. So unless you have a Blood Altar up, or maybe even 2 Blood Altars up. I thought we can do 3. I think 3 is actually the limit. Yeah, you can have quite a few of these up. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, 3 is your limitation of the health altars. And their auras overlap, as you can see. So you can have a nice little pool of super health if you need it. Look at that. Now, her last ability is a bit complicated and also very, very simple. Her last ability is Seeking Talents. You charge to expand the targeting area, and you release Descend to Garuda's Talents, craning towards each target in an area. Surviving enemies are prone to bleeding. So if you look here, you'll see that there's a damage of 150, a 10-second duration, which is like, okay, what's that? And then a bleed chance 50%. Interestingly, there is no range indicator on this at all. So if I use this, the longer I hold it, the longer this reticle expands all the way to the full field of view. The enemies, I think, can be about 30 meters out, I believe, is the maximum range. Maybe a little farther than that. As you can see, They take a good deal of damage, and then they bleed from slash procs. But then they also have these M's over them. And these M's are terrifying. So we're going to get ourselves a little bit of a higher end enemy, because really for Garuda, level 30 enemies are not that big of a challenge, especially ones that are standing still. So let's go to level 100 enemies here. This is going to be probably kind of closer to what her skill set is keyed to her. So we're going to dash in here, we're going to get ourselves a couple altars going, and we're just going to keep on spamming our energy restoration to get ourselves full energy. And then recover full health. So, as you can see, again, a very useful talent. So these level 100s, obviously, I shoot them even with, ooh, wow, with a good crit chance, it does a lot of damage. Anyways, so, you know, my weapons are pretty darn strong, and somehow I'm still getting range crits. That's crazy. There it goes. So, but usually I can't get a slash proc, you know, it takes a little bit to get a slash proc on these guys. But if I use my fourth ability, and then I wait for the slash procs that are automatically on them to elapse, and I shoot one, I have a nearly guaranteed chance of creating slash procs on targets with the M. So if you look here, the duration is 10 seconds, the bleed chance is 50%, so 50% of the time when these enemies take damage while affected by this, by the little M, they take slash procs 50% of the time, which can really be nasty. Now the interesting thing, this is all damage. This is not indicating just damage by Garuda, or damage from slash weapons, or damage from weapons, or damage from melee. No, this is all weapons. And to kind of give you an idea of just how disgusting that can be, actually, we're going to simulate 10 level 100s. For your pleasure, we're going to do this. Yes, you just saw it, you just thought about it probably. This is indeed a method. So I can go ahead and do this, just recover my cat's power, jump back into my frame, jump over here, do this. So as you can see, my thing's about 26%. Now if I do that, and then I charge this bad boy up. Ooh, that was bad. Keep that going. 4,000, 5,000. Just go ahead and keep that running. Give myself some. Ooh, bad. Oh, things are bad things. So, one of the things to remember is Garuda is kind of squishy. Okay. So we'll get this up to about 5K, let's say. Not 10K, I guess works. We'll go ahead and use that ability there, and we'll charge this bad boy. And so that applies a slash proc onto him, as long as it was actually active when it needed to. But of course it was not. That would be too easy. Dang it. Okay. Basically, in a nutshell, the way this works is you can use this window to generate a massive amount of damage. And then once you have a good chunk of damage for it, you can go ahead and just absolutely dominate the entire field. Now you only get one shot, which is unfortunate, but that one shot can be super damn destructive if you do this right. Yeah, these are level 100s. They're pretty dang tough, and I don't have any mods on my Warframe right now. So did that there. Did that there. There it is. So you can get up to a point where the slash procs that you're going to be outputting are going to be so crazy hard that no enemy can survive them. So that's kind of Garuda in a nutshell. You can use her 4 to debuff enemies and make them super ridiculously weak. And when you combine them with other Warframes like Gara, like Warframes like Nova, depending on how your duration is, she can get really nasty. So personally for myself, if you're just getting her Garuda and you want to build her something, go ahead and grab her Steel Charge. Again, Rifle Amp, always options. The Materai, Intensify, and Continuity, you should be throwing those on there just as a default, and probably you want to throw on Rage or Hunter Adrenaline if you have them. Now in the Vazarin, Steel Fiber is a good idea, but for the most part, Vitality, for that extra bit of health, is going to be a little bit more useful. Maybe even Adaptation, well, most people don't have Adaptation, so mostly just the Vitality Steel Fiber combination that everyone's used to. On top of that, your Naramon, you should be running something like Flow, Prime Flow if you have it, but just generally Flow or Natural Talent. These will give you a higher baseline to play with, but guaranteed give yourself some more efficiency and a little bit, kind of push your duration as much as you can, because pushing your duration and your power strength just a little bit gives you some interesting stuff. Now, with her abilities modified this way, you'll notice that her duration's at 30 seconds for her Dreadmere and a 3 times damage capture multiplier for her Dreadmere. The charge drain being at 35. Now, the Blood Altar's duration is 30 seconds, its health percent is 38, and then the Bloodletting, you'll actually notice, has gone up from 25% to 35%. The Bleed chance up to 77%, and that's because the energy that you get back from Bloodletting is increased by your efficiency. The higher your efficiency, the more energy you get back. With Seeking Talons, the bleed chance is increased by power strength. So it's one of those things that if you have the mods for it, and you could do like this configuration with a decent range, moderate efficiency, duration, and strength, you get something like this. A really good range in that Blood Altar, and the heal radius is at 10 meters, so that's even better. You don't get much beyond that, but you can build her strictly for efficiency. And if you want to see that, that's a pretty fun thing too. So we'll go ahead over here, Fleet and Expertise, and we'll grab ourselves Streamline. That gives us 175%, and you will see that we're at 100% energy. She can use the ability once and bring herself back to full energy. It also changes the charge drain for Dreadmere down quite a darn bit. So if you did that, and then combined her strictly with power strength mods, so running yourself things like, well, you don't want to use Blind Rage, but do Intensify, maybe even Transient Fortitude. Yeah, I know, your duration is ridiculously low, but here's the fun fact about this. You can use other things to increase that, of course. You can do Narrow-Minded to reduce that range. You really don't need range all that badly with her. Mostly what you need to do is you need to be able to get in there and do some crazy stuff. So there's all your kind of setup for that, and if you have more, and of course more power is better, so having things like Power Drift is good and whatnot. 195% power strength. With that, you get almost 4 times capture multiplier. The explosion radius is much lower, and so is the range you can dash in, and the heal radius. But your heal is almost 50% of your health per second, and your energy is at 100% energy you're getting, and your bleed chance is almost at 100% as well. So when you do that, and even as a base level thing, I can do this. Run in here. Do that. Ooh, nope, that's bad. So go ahead and shoot. Oh, shoot me, thank you. So that's 17k already. 20k, 25k. And again, remember, you can just increase your duration if you need to. so I can kind of knock people back. So I'll do that, and then do that. Look at that. So that's Garuda in a nutshell. She plays really well with other frames. She's really a support frame. If you want to know how to pick her up, it's really simple. You have to complete the Nox Solaris quest, so basically the starting quest for Fortuna, and then you just simply do the first 3 bounties that are always up, and they will always pick up things like, there will have an uncommon drop, which is Garuda's systems, chassis, and of course, her neuropics. Now, getting them is a little tricky sometimes for drop rates, and her resources required to get her are kind of intensive, but if you can do it, she's well worth it, as you can see, as both a frame and a fighter. So, thank you everybody so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a comment, leave a like, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. And until next time, everybody, I will thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everybody.